My guest is Jocelyn Taylor from Popped Closet. You're a professional organizer.
Yes, thank
And
you.
most of us can use organizing.
Absolutely.
What is the most common thing that you request that you get?
So I get a lot of requests for kitchens and for closets.
Closets, okay. Let's start with as soon as you walk in the door, the closet that tends to become a catch-all for everything, and it just kind of gets thrown in. You close the door really quick, and that solves it for now. Yeah. So what's our first step?
So our first step is kind of assessing what your needs are. So obviously, if you've got young kids that need spaces that they can hang things up themselves, we want to make sure that we can get something for them to be able to put their shoes away, to be able to put their backpacks away, so that you're not just creating that dumping ground. You also want to look at what your own habits are. So everyone in the house, is it easy for you to hang up your coat? Would you rather do it on a hook? Is that more practical for you? And kind of look at what is going to be the best option for them actually to complete the task and to make sure that it stays tidy as much as possible. I also recommend that you only keep what you're actually wearing as much as possible, and especially for that entryway closet, right? We will have winter jackets and we'll have spring and summer, so if you can rotate that out with the season, it just helps it stay a little bit more manageable.
So take out, like this time of year, take out the spring jackets and those kinds and pack them away.
And pack them away and put them somewhere else so that it's not taking up that extra space.
That's a good idea, gee. And then allowing enough space that when you have guests,
they've got room to put their things as well.
There's actually a place to put them. What about shoes? Now, there's some people that they just walk, they leave their shoes on. There's others that turn into slippers. Some just walk around their stocking feet. Everybody has their own habits. Do you recommend leaving the shoes in that closet or taking them elsewhere, like into your bedroom?
So typically we would keep them in the closet, but again, if you've got a large shoe collection, I'm a person that has quite a few different pairs, so I try to limit how many I have downstairs at any time, right, at that front entrance. So it's kind of about rotating it in and knowing kind of what you're going to be wearing for the week or so, and then take those out. And so if you just have a simple shoe rack or one of those shoe cabinets that are quite thin that you can get from IKEA, something that you can kind of toss them into and not have it be a big issue, right? We don't want to have it make an extra work for you, but limiting how many are downstairs at any given time.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea too. Actually, you can trip over them too if they're just kind of left there. There's a safety hazard there.
Yeah.
So let's imagine that if you have a mud room, that would be perfect if you got kids, but so you don't have a mud room, all you've got is that front closet. What would you do for kids, varying ages of children, so that they can get in the habit of
putting things away?
Yeah.
So I always recommend hooks and put them at their level. So, per child, I would say about 3 hooks so that they have one for their coats, one for their bags, and then maybe one for snow pants or things like that get a little bit bulkier in the winter. And making sure that it's the right size so that it's just really easy, that instead of throwing it on the ground, they can hang it up really easily. It does obviously get a little bit messier just because it's not necessarily in the closet, but you can choose to put it on the side of the closet or something that again, they can reach, but it's not out in the hallway.
Okay, and I think a place where you can sit down to pull on your boots and take off your shoes.
That's always a great thing as well. So I love a shoe rack that has a bench on it so that you've got that layer to put the shoes in, and then you can also sit down to put your shoes on or to take them off and then my other thing as well is baskets for the accessories.
Oh, what a good idea.
Yes.
Right, and do you put that on the shelf above the rack? Or?
So for the adults, I would put it on the shelf above, and then for kids, I would put it on that bench so that they can still reach their own things.
And when spring comes around, you really don't need the mitts and the gloves and all the scarves all in those baskets. Again, pack them up and
put them down in the basement, or put them if you have space for a double shelf, you can put them up on the high shelf that's not really accessible, and then that kind of gives you the space and the freedom to work with everything that you really need is right there in easy access.
It's kind of psychological too, that when you walk in, you open the closet, it's nice and it's orderly, and it isn't so overwhelming.
Absolutely.
So there's that to it.
Yeah, and it makes your mornings easier, right? As you're leaving the house, you have everything you need right there, and you're not running around and saying, "Oh, where did we drop that last night? Where did we put the backpack? Where did we do?" They all have a place, and so it just makes the mornings and getting out of the house easier.
Well, it's interesting you'd mentioned that. it's quite a few years ago, and it was just a matter of going through some very stressful times and all this. I sat down and had a stern talking to with myself, and what is causing me stress? And I realized that being disorganized was causing me more stress than I really needed, and I just became a little bit obsessive at one point. However, I have kind of stayed with that.
Yeah.
And from a stress management point of view, just being organized is, well, you save a lot of time, and that was the big stressor, was not enough time.
Yeah. But it's
I
also that energy, right? You don't have to think about it. You just you know exactly where things are, and you don't have to think about where things are going or where they're going to be, and that makes a big difference.
It was things like car keys.
Oh yes.
Yeah, like, don't drop them in your handbag where they disappear to the very bottom of the handbag, and then when you don't find them the first time through, your heart starts pounding, and you've got to get out the door. It was things like that that I found. It was just put things the same place every time.
Yes, exactly.
And then train the people around you to
do
the same thing.
That can also be a very challenging part.
And now it's glasses, it's reading glasses. So it's like a whole bunch of them all over the house, so I don't have to go hunting for them.
Absolutely. You kind of have a spot in every room for them, right?
That's exactly what I do. But it just, I just discovered that and said, wow, it has just cut back. I saved a lot of time, and it really has cut back on a whole lot of stress.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to the closet in your bedroom.
Yes.
All right.
So now this is another one that we want to make sure that we keep it seasonally appropriate. So even if you don't have the space to move it completely out of your closet, maybe you're moving the summer stuff at this time of the year, just to the side or to the back where it's not, you want front and center to be what you're wearing now. And so we want to make it as easy as possible. And I always recommend sorting it by type of clothing and then by color, so that really easily you can see what you have at a glance, right? And you can put outfits together really easily. It just takes that, again, the stress-free mornings, it takes the effort out of it, and you can just say, okay, this shirt with this blazer, and we're good to go.
You know where I store out of season is in my suitcases.
That's such a great idea.
Because they're empty. They're perfect storage containers.
Exactly. And then that also, you're probably going on vacation sometime in the winter, and you've got it right there, ready to go.
All right there. That's right. Exactly. You just have to sort through them. Absolutely. Yeah. The double racks in a closet. Do you recommend that?
So it depends on what you have. If you've got a lot of longer dresses, or even sometimes if you're hanging trousers, sometimes it's easier to hang them just flat so that they have more space to hang. So it's going to depend on you for that. What you can do is, you can put in the double hanging on one side and then have this solid single hang on the other, and that can kind of be a great way to have space for both. But yeah, I think it kind of depends on what you've got.
So you decide you've got way too much. Take everything out?
Absolutely. And do it one category at a time. So take out, all of your, let's say, t-shirts, and let's look at what you've got. And then you can kind of make it usually becomes very obvious that, I've got too many of this size or this color, and we can kind of then it makes the decision that much easier, right? To say, this one's more worn, I'm gonna let this one go, or this one I just don't wear that color, let's let that one go. And when you see the volume all in one place, it usually helps make a decision pretty quickly.
Do you say hang t-shirts or fold them?
Depends again on your space. I usually typically would fold them, and I like the file fold method where you can see everyone in your drawer at a given time.
Oh, that's a neat idea. How does that work?
So that you would fold them kind of in half with the arms in, and then fold them in half again, and then in a third, so that they kind of stand up on their own, and then in the drawer you see each one.
What a good idea.
So again, if you can see what you have, it's just that much easier.
That'd be good with kids because they seem to kind of live in t-shirts and things.
Absolutely. The t-shirts and the leggings and the drawers, that's kind of the easiest way to do a kid's closet.
Do you find that often people simply don't have the place to put things, or they just are not using the space properly?
I think it's mostly that they're not using the space effectively. And I think there's a lot of ways that, we've just kind of become accustomed that we just throw it in a drawer and you don't think about it. So when you actually are like folding them properly where you can see everything, and then maybe add a drawer divider so that you can have different rows, and you can have maybe your tank tops, your t-shirts, and your long sleeves all in one drawer, but separated enough that, again, it's easy for you to just grab it really quickly and go. I think also things like baskets. You know, if you're not great at folding and you're using that top shelf, it might be better for you to fold it and put it in a basket, or, you know, just throw it in the basket if you really don't care. And then that way it keeps it clean, it keeps it looking more presentable, and you're not looking at that chaos.
And again, it just makes you feel so much
Feel much
better,
less
so much
stressed.
more in control of your situation.
Exactly.
So there's a whole bunch of good reasons to get organized, or call a professional organizer who will help you get organized.
Absolutely.
So if somebody does need a little bit of help, a little bit of a nudge, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can go to my website at popcloset.com, or you can call me at 343-333-6032, and I can help you out there.
Super. Will you come back again, talk to us about kitchens?
I would love to anytime, Donna.
All right. Look forward to it.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much.
much.